So in this video I'm going to be reviewing and talking about the Toto F7 WE and asking the question, can you get a good Android and Apple CarPlay head unit for £175? So I paid for this head unit. It cost me £175, so this is not a sponsored video. But one of my channel members requested a video on the head unit fitted to this car, and I think we can all agree that it does definitely modernise up the interior of the car. But £175 isn't a lot for a Android head unit, and that's because there's licensing involved with that, and there's you've got licensing for Apple CarPlay, and this head unit functions wirelessly. So you've even got cars like Aston Martins, brand new Aston Martins, where you can't get wireless Android Auto or CarPlay because the licensing costs too much, and they don't want to agree to the licensing. So yeah, I think this is good value for money. To be honest, when I bought it, I didn't think it was great value for money. It seemed like a lot of money for a unit that basically did exactly what some of the much cheaper ones did. But I'm going to go into some of the reasons why this has been the best solution for me. And you can tell this has been a good head unit for me because I bought this in August of 2023. It's taken me until now, which is June of 2024, to make this video because it's just worked. And that's what you want from a head unit. You just want it to work. It's not all roses though. There are some negatives to this, and I'll talk you through that, but this is not a video about pulling out all the flaws and everything. There are flaws in all modern electronics. So to start off with, let's just have a look at the unit with it switched off. So this surround is not standard. I had to order this one. There is a very slight colour difference between this component and that, but to most people it doesn't stand out that there's any difference. And the surrounds that came to fill this void with the head unit, none of them actually fitted. So this was the hardest bit. What I had to do was actually make one out of styrofoam, just shaving it off to make it, and as you can probably see, it's not even. And that was the reason why I couldn't fit with one of the standard ones, is that this is bolted into a metal bracket behind, which has little to no adjustment on it, and then it's got to come through this aperture. So this is what it looks like with the unit uninstalled. This is the unit, and you have to put these basically blocks onto the side of it because the unit is so slimline. Most double DIN connections are looking for a much bigger entry point. I've got adapter A fitted. It says that most cars adapter A is most suitable. Wi-Fi has been connected. I'm not using a backup camera, so I haven't got any of these utilised, and this is the single USB cable. So let's have a look in the box and see what we get. This is how this product arrived from Amazon. So no extra packaging involved in this, just a box essentially. First of all, we've got two leads. One is a switching live and one is a permanent live. Not quite sure, they didn't put one lead in there and put a connector here so you could switch it between switched and permanent. That would have been easier. This I believe is a Wi-Fi aerial. We have an external microphone here. We have the fitting kits for the unit. We have a couple of surrounds there, dependent on the size of the opening that you've got to install them. Disappointing that this is all torn up. This, just as a note, this box isn't sealed, so for all we know this could have been returned. It could be that this has been returned and then sent out, so hoping that's not the case, but that might be why that is the way it is. This one is a wiring harness if you want to manually wire it all in. And we've got labels there on all the wires. And got a whole raft of instruction manuals. We are England and these are all in English, so looks like it's quite clearly quite clear instructions. Certainly doesn't look very Chinese, so that's good. And last of all, we've got the unit. So here it is. So unit is in this shrink wrap. Keep it safe and stop moisture getting involved in it. Yeah, so that's what you get in the box, and quite well packaged in there. It's got all this foam around there, so it shouldn't get bashed around in transit. It didn't fit very well, so made one up. I'm happy with this. It's basically made of hardwood, painted, but as you could probably see, it doesn't stand out that it's not a genuine part of the car. So other downsides to this is we've got no physical buttons. Now this was one of the things that put me off the head unit initially. No physical buttons. These buttons do work. They're touch buttons and they're hard buttons, so they're always there, but I would have preferred to have physical buttons, but it would have made it look messier, so I guess that's not a problem. And I've got this all wired into my steering wheel controls, so I try not to touch the screen. It's the same with all touch screens. When you start touching them, they just look messy. So first thing we do, we get the unit powered on. It doesn't take too long to boot up. Working with some manufacturers, the screens on those take longer to power up than this. In fact, they actually say that you should wait 5 minutes before driving the car with some of the new modern media system. As you can see, that's automatically connected to Apple CarPlay, as my phone is in my pocket, so didn't take long at all. So this takes us back to the home screen. This is the standard screen you're going to see. So obviously you've got the date and time here. We've got Android Auto and CarPlay over here. This takes you through to radio. Time to show you the volume. Good thing about this is once you've touched it, you can do that. So you can take the volume down very quickly, should you want to. I won't try and play any audio in this because we'll get copyright stricken. I've got it tuned into this signal here, which connects to a radio transmitter. The reason being is that your phones are connected through this button here, and albeit you can have a number of phones connected to the unit, you can only have one phone connected at one time. So sometimes I'll be wanting to use the maps on my phone and my daughter will want to connect her phone, and yeah, we use it for that reason, so she can just connect to this and transmit her phone signal through to there. So yeah, the other things, when you go back to here, brings up another menu. So you can just play Bluetooth audio. You can use a micro SD, albeit this has not got any slots on the front. So all you've got is one USB connection, which I've pre-wired into the glove box. so I can connect my devices wired as well as wirelessly, but you've seen how quick this works, so there's no real benefit of doing that. You can connect a USB. I haven't got the reverse camera fitted to this, something I might do later, so I can't tell you how good that is. And auto link allows you to link your phone, so you can display or mirror your phone on the head unit. It's completely useless. I wouldn't bother. It doesn't work very well, so I'm not sure what it's like on other units, but on this one, not great. So you've got a telephone there, so if you want to use it just as a telephone system, you can do. It has got an inbuilt mic. However, what I've done is I've hardwired a mic which comes in the kit. The telephone and the AI assistants using this microphone didn't work very well, so that's why I've hardwired in an external microphone. You've got an EQ there, so you can change where you want to put the sound, so you can move that all the way around. And you've also got all of these preset EQs. I think that's 10 that you've got there. Yeah, it sounds great, to be honest. I've played around with all of these. They've all sounded good. My criticism of this head unit is that it doesn't have a bass boost function or a volume boost function. So when the volume is very low, it becomes very quiet, and on more better head units that you will find that there'll be like a boost button, which will basically amplify the sound when it's at lower volume, so it sounds better essentially. It may already do that, but so you can see across the top there as well, you have got these hard buttons here that take us, or not hard buttons, but these virtual buttons at the top there. One of the reasons that I've kept this, and I think is something that the others don't have, is that you can do this. So you can change the brightness of the screen very quickly to these presets. So like today, where it's very sunny, I can boost the brightness right up there, but other days when it starts to get dark, I can quickly just take the brightness off, and this does automatically turn on with the lights. As you can see, I've turned the lights on and off, it does that function anyway. So AV in, I think that's if you wanted to put something onto the screen. I'm not using that function or the front camera. They're all optional things. So going back to the radio, not the best radio I've had out there, to be honest. It doesn't just, when you've got these presets here, it doesn't store the station names here. When you've connected to them, then it will come up with a station name. As you can see, it does come up with a station name across the top there, tell you what it's playing. So it does work. Not the best unit, and it's not DAB either, it's just normal FM, which is fine. I wanted this as an Android unit. I didn't need it as a radio. So I've ever really used the radio other than for the function of an FM, so that my daughter can connect her phone to the head unit. So that's really about the only time I ever use it. Again, when you're in radio, you've got all these shortcuts across the bottom, so you can click through to there. So if you're not familiar with Apple CarPlay, this is the standard screen that you've got. It basically lists the last used apps there, how much charge there is in the battery, and if I put my phone on charge, it tells me it's charging there, shows the percentage, phone signal. This corner button brings up a list of all of the apps you've got there. You can read your messages on there, but I personally like using Waze and Google Maps, so those are great. And you can get, other messaging apps up on there as well. So yeah, it's not as good as Android Auto. I'm going to be brutally honest. It's not as good. It Yeah, I prefer Android Auto, but yeah, when you go into there, you can list up all of your tracks and play your tracks off of Spotify there. So yeah, it's yeah, got this. When you're actually sort of driving with here, this top box here gives you the directions as well as that, and if you want to go full screen, you can go full screen like that. But when I show you the Android Auto version, you'll see that the Android Auto is generally a better system. So let's go and get the Android Auto and we'll have a look at that. So took a little while to come up that one, didn't it? And to be honest, when I don't think Android, or maybe it's just the head unit, likes switching between Apple and Android because when I change phones, it just becomes problematic. So it does list all of the phones there, down in that list there, and you can connect, disconnect, and connect as and when you want. So yeah. Once it's connected, and just to show you, that is wirelessly, there's no wires connected to that. So very similar display to the Apple CarPlay. Again, got the button there, and we've got a list of all of the apps down there. I think there's better apps on there. Also with Android Auto, you have got games built into it, which my daughter absolutely loves. So same sort of layout, battery and phone connection charge over there. Again, you've got your 3 pinned ones, your box over there. If you go into the app, I just think that looks a lot better than the version on iPhone, to be honest. It's blacker than the iPhone version, and it also, when you go back to home screen, mirrors the wallpaper that you've got on your phone. Just neat, I think. Android Auto, yeah, better in my opinion than iPhone currently, although they're constantly sort of moving backwards and forwards. And so even the fact that you've got that button there, go straight to your notifications, yeah, it's very, very neat. So one of the reasons that I've been happy with this product is because of the screen quality. The touch screen, as you can see, is very responsive, and it when you get it onto blacks, they're proper blacks. They're not a grey colour. Black is black on this screen. The only downside is that this is not a glass screen. It's some kind of plastic, and you probably can't pick it out, but where I've cleaned the screen, I've managed to put a little scratch into that plastic surface there, which isn't ideal. But we are talking, sub £200 for a Android car head unit, and it's doubled in, so I can take this out. And to be honest, I have got an 80s classic that this could go into, because I'm sure this Toyota Corolla is not my car for life, so this could live on in a 80s classic and look very 80s in an 80s classic. So yeah, I think depending on what car you're trying to fit it into, it's going to be whether or not it's suitable. I've seen other head units with bigger screens and things like that stick out, and for me, I don't need that, to be honest. I'm not really looking at this screen very much. It's better than referring through to my phone. Downsides to this head unit, as you see, it can be glitchy connecting phones sometimes. 99% of the time it just works, and that's fine. With Apple CarPlay, there is a little quirk that sometimes doesn't always connect. So you'll end up having to go to home and then back in again, and then it works absolutely fine. This might be, I'm sure this is a Apple CarPlay issue rather than a Toto issue. And I have had occasions where I've been driving and using it and it has just turned off. Literally just turned off, blank screen. I've had to pull the car over and restart it, and it's restarted okay. I noticed there is a little reset button down there, and not had cause to use it, but it is there. It'd be a little bit fiddly because you've got to have a pin to get into there. This button here, obviously you've got volume home and on off, and the power button also works as a mute button, so you can just tap that and it mutes the sound. So hope you've enjoyed this short review of the Toto F7 WE. As I said, I've kept it, so I'm happy with it. Is it a 10 out of 10 unit? No, I would probably rate it maybe 7 out of 10. There could be better functionality. It could be a little quicker, and the random resets time, when it resets, that can be problematic. It's happened probably a couple of times in the last 6 months, so it's not a common occurring thing. I think the problem that we've all got with cars these days is that we install these units into the cars and want them to work, and really we should not be playing with our phones in the cars. So that's the upshot of it. One last thing is, you can probably just see now the fingerprints are just starting to creep in. I did clean the screen before I started this video, and you can see that's just starting to creep in. And I said touch screen, if you had hard buttons that would avoid that, but to fit hard buttons in there with all of that, I don't think it would work. So if you've enjoyed this video, if I could ask you just to hit the like button. If you subscribe to the channel, I've got lots of other content on there that you might see relevant, especially wiring in the steering wheel controls to this head unit is on there. So yeah, hit the subscribe button and comment down below if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching.